Hello and welcome to the Intel Brief. Today is Tuesday, 10 February. I'm your host Daniel, and today we're going to talk about the US and Armenia have signed a nuclear deal during the JD Vance's visit. The US has cut Bangladesh tariffs to 19% in a trade deal, and the Munich Security Conference braces for more of Trump's wrecking ball politics. So firstly, US President JD Vance and Armenia's Prime Minister Nikol Pashinyan have agreed to collaborate on the nuclear energy sector. The two leaders said that they completed negotiations on Monday on what was known as the 123 Agreement. The 123 Agreement allows the United States to license nuclear technology and equipment to other countries. The deal relates to small modular reactors, and Vance said after the meeting with Pashinyan in the capital, Yerevan. The agreement would allow up to $5 billion in initial US exports to Armenia, plus an additional $4 billion in longer-term fuel and maintenance contracts, according to Vance. So what? To me, this seems likely to be an attempt to reduce Russian influence in Armenia, which is pretty high. It also appears to be mutually beneficial and a first, to my knowledge, of the use of small modular reactors, which is a new type of technology where nuclear energy is harnessed in much smaller modular, as the name suggests, reactor-style things that can much easily be installed and renewed. If the technology works well, which there's been a lot of investment and a lot of tech work put into designing this tech, so there's no reason that it wouldn't be quite effective. It's almost certain that it will continue to improve and spread around the world. Has the possibility of being extremely valuable to the human race, in my opinion, from what I've seen anyway. And next, the United States and Bangladesh have unveiled a new trade agreement on Monday. Under the deal, certain volumes of imports from Bangladesh into the US can receive preferential treatment, attracting zero tariffs. Ooh, interesting. But the volume will be related to how much textiles the US exports to Bangladesh. Okay, so it's if they buy stuff from us, we can take stuff for zero. Interesting. The US has committed to establish a mechanism for textile and apparel goods from Bangladesh using US-produced cotton and man-made fiber to receive zero reciprocal tariffs in the US market, Bangladesh's interim leader Muhammad Yunus said in a statement. So what? To me, this seems like a sign that the US administration realizes that some industries are just not possible within the United States, particularly clothing manufacturing. The cost of labor is just not sustainable for any country to maintain cheap clothing while trying to make it in their own country, just due to wage costs and electricity costs. It could lead to similar agreements, if it becomes a competitive thing around Southeast Asia and India. And to me, it seems like a way of reducing reliance on China and just trying to pull any amount of trade away from the Chinese market, who, dominate textiles in a big way, though Bangladesh is, notably massive as well. And lastly, the organizers of the Munich Security Conference did not hesitate to name one world leader who they think will be behind the current period of wrecking ball politics. The most powerful of those who have taken the axe to the existing rule and institutions is US President Donald Trump, they wrote in the Munich Security Report 2026, which was released on Monday. The release came after organizers announced that US Secretary of State Marco Rubio will lead a sizable delegations to officials at the Munich Security Conference this weekend. So what? I think it's unlikely that Trump will appreciate these comments, even if he, publicly doesn't admit it, and it could lead to further tensions between the US and NATO. Depends on what is discussed here and what European leaders try and get out of it. But I think the conference could see a boost in European defense companies as they continue to grow through government commitments to buying more military equipment and enhancing the technology within their militaries. This could also upset the US, who have a large military industrial complex and want to see European countries buying from them more and more. So yeah, Rubio's speech could be worth a watch. Some of the speeches at these security conferences recently have been pretty fiery, to say the least. So it could be one to watch, and I'll definitely keep an eye out to see if anything kicks off. Really. Anyway, that's been your Intel Brief. I've been your host, Daniel, and I'll see you again tomorrow. See you.